The first exercise we have in our warm-ups is open the gates. The muscles that will be worked are your hips, glutes, hip flexors, quads, and hamstrings, and your core. First, you'll stand tall with your feet hip width apart and your arms by your side. Start by bringing your right knee up towards your chest in a controlled motion. Open your right hip and move your leg out to the side, creating a 90-degree angle with your leg. As you open your leg, keep your core engaged and avoid leaning too much to one side. A good sport that would benefit from this is football, which are your linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and your running backs. The second warm-up we have is the exercise close the gates. The muscles that will be worked are your hips, glutes, hip flexors, quads, hamstrings, and the core. You'll do this by standing tall with your feet hip width apart and arms by your side. Begin by lifting your right knee up towards your chest while keeping your core engaged. Open your right hip outward, creating a 90-degree angle with your leg as you move your foot outward, mimicking the action of opening a gate. A good sport that would benefit from this is football, which are your linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and the running backs. The next technique we have is arm circles. The purpose for arm circles is to loosen up the shoulders and upper back, improving flexibility and range of motion in your arms and shoulders. This is great for preventing shoulder injuries. Some cues that you should keep in mind to execute arm circles properly is move your arms in a controlled circle, increasing range gradually. A good sport that could benefit for using arm circles as a warm-up is swimming, baseball, tennis, and volleyball. These exercises warm up the shoulder joints and muscles, which are heavily used in throwing, hitting, or serving. They help reduce the risk of shoulder strains and enhance the range of motion as well. The next technique we have is the torsion twist. The purpose of the torsion twist is to engage your core and warm up your spine and obliques. It's essential for increasing mobility and reducing stiffness in your torso. Some cues that you should look for to execute properly is to keep your feet planted, twist side to side slowly. A good sport that could use torsion twists is golf, baseball, tennis, and maybe martial arts. Because of the torsion twist, it helps improve the core flexibility and rotation power, which are crucial for sports that require swinging or rotation movements. They also help with balance and coordination. The next technique we have is lunges with torso twists. The purpose of torso twists with lunges, it combines lower body activating with core engagement. The twist helps warm up your obliques and spine mobility, while the lunges prepares your legs for dynamic movements. Good cues to look out for when doing these is step into a lunge, then twist over the front leg and return back to standing. A good sport that could use torsion twists is tennis, baseball, golf, and martial arts. Why? This combo moves enhances lower body strength, flexibility, and rotation core strength. It's great for sports that involve lunging, swinging, or quick directional changes. The next technique we have is butt kicks. The purpose of butt kicks is to stretch and warm up the quadriceps, which activate the hamstrings and glutes and improve coordination and running mechanics. Some cues to look out for when doing butt kicks is stand tall with feet hip width apart. Jog in place while bringing your heels up to touch your glutes. Keep your knees pointed downward rather than forward, and swing your arms naturally as you move. Stay light on your feet and land softly as well. Some good sports that could use during butt kicks is soccer, for example. Because soccer uses a lot of running, it helps activate all those muscles so they are ready to compete during the game or practice. The next technique we have is body weight squats. The purpose of body weight squats is to activate your glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves while also engaging your core. It prepares your lower body for more intense movements and boosts circulation to your legs. Some good cues to look out for is control the descent and keep the knees aligned with your toes. A good sport that would benefit from body weight squats is soccer, football, weightlifting, and basketball. Squats activate the lower body muscles, glutes, quads, and hamstrings, which are essential for running, jumping, and explosive movements. They also help with stability and balance. The next technique we have in our warm up is leg swings, front to back and side to side. The purpose of leg swings is to increase hip mobility and warm up the hip flexors, glutes, and adductors. It's especially helpful before exercising that involves running or lower body movements. Some cues to be mindful of during this warm up is hold onto a surface for support and swing slowly, not fast. Some sports that would benefit from the leg swing is soccer, track and field, martial arts, and dance. Leg swings improve hip mobility and loosen the hips, flexors, and adductors. This is essential for sports requiring high kicks, running, or lateral movements. The next warm-up exercise is high knees, slow and controlled. The purpose of high knees is to get your heart rate up while working your hip flexors and quads. It also activates your core and helps with coordination. Some cues to be mindful of when doing high knees is bring your knees up to your waist height and maintain steady rhythm. Some sports that use high knees is running, track and field, soccer, and basketball. High knees increase heart rate and strengthen the hip flexors and quadriceps. They also enhance coordination and running form, which is beneficial for any sport requiring sprinting. The first exercise is closed grip bench press. The equipment that could be used is a barbell, weighted plates, and a flat bench. With good alternative, find a bar that is weighted. The muscles that are being worked are triceps, chest, and shoulders. In this demonstration, I will show that you need to lay flat on the bench with your feet firmly planted on the ground. Grip the barbell with your hands positioned closer, shoulder width apart, typically about 6 to 8 inches apart, depending on your comfort. Then you will lower the bar slowly with controlled, bringing it to your lower chest or upper stomach, keeping your elbows tucked in close to your body at a 45-degree angle. Then lastly, you'll push the bar up explosively, extending your arms fully by maintaining a controlled motion. Some cues to be aware of during the closed grip bench press is keep your elbows close to your body. This is crucial because it emphasizes the triceps. As well, engaging your core and maintaining a stable base. Make sure your back is slightly arched and your feet flat on the floor. Control the descent by drive up explosively. Because of this, it helps focus on smooth control as the bar comes down, but push up with power. As well as keep wrists straight and avoid letting them bend back. Because of this, it ensures a solid wrist position for safety and proper muscle activation. A good sport that could benefit from closed grip bench press is football, for example, and specifically the lineman. The closed grip bench press is excellent for linemen because it develops the tricep and upper body strength, which are essential for blocking, push-offs, and punching through opponents. The second variation you have here is the wide grip bench press. Some equipment that could be used during the wide grip bench press is a barbell, weighted plates, and a flat bench, as well as an alternative, a weighted bar. The muscles that are being worked is your chest, your shoulders, and your triceps. During this demonstration, I will show that you must lay flat on the bench with your feet firmly planted on the ground. You must grip the barbell with your hands positioned wider than your shoulders apart, typically about half to 2 times shoulder width, depending on the comfort and the flexibility. Thirdly, lower the bar slowly with control, bringing it down to the mid or upper chest area, keeping your elbows at a wider angle, such as 75 to 90 degrees from your body. Then lastly, you will push the bar up explosively, extending your arms fully by maintaining a controlled motion as the bar moves forward. Some cues to be mindful of is keeping your elbows at a 75-degree angle. Unlike the closed grip, the elbows should flare out more to target the chest but not excessively. Then you'll engage your core and maintain a stable base, keeping your back slightly arched and your feet on the floor to provide stability. Control the descent, then drive up with power. By doing this, you'll be focusing on lowering the bar with control and pushing it up explosively. Lastly, don't let your wrists bend back, maintaining a strong and natural wrist position for safety and proper activation. The best sport that would benefit from the wide grip is football, such as wide receivers and quarterbacks. Lastly, the third variation is the reverse bench press. Some equipment that could be used is the barbell, weighted plates, and flat bench, as well as a weighted bar. The muscles that are worked are your lower chest, shoulders, and triceps. In this demonstration, I will show that you must lay flat on the bench with your feet firmly planted on the ground, maintaining a stable base. Then grip the barbell with an underhand supinate grip, positioning your hands wider than shoulder width apart, similarly to a wide grip in a traditional bench press, but with your palms facing outward. Then you will lower the bar slowly with control, bringing it down to your lower chest or upper stomach area, ensuring your elbows are tucked in at about a 45-degree angle to your body. Then lastly, you will push up the bar explosively, extending your arms fully while maintaining a controlled motion. Focus on using the chest and triceps to drive that bar upward. Some cues to be mindful of is maintaining an underhand grip. Because of this, your palms should face upward, providing a different angle of activation, particularly for the lower chest and triceps. Then you will control the descent by driving up explosively. Because of this, the bar will lower with smooth control and then push it up forcefully. Then keep your elbows tucked in about 45-degree angle. Unlike the wide grip, the variation targets the triceps more by keeping the elbows in. Then engage your core and keep your back slightly arched, maintaining stability throughout the movement. Lastly, don't let your wrists bend back. Ensure your wrists stay straight to prevent strain and improve muscle activation. The best sport that would benefit from the reverse grip bench press is the quarterbacks and wide receivers in football. The next exercise we have is the front barbell squats. When doing the front barbell squats, the equipment that could be used is a barbell, weight plate, squat rack, or alternative, a weighted bar. The muscles that are worked are quads, glutes, hamstrings, core, and shoulders. In this demonstration, you must grip the bar with an overhand pronated grip, placing your hands slightly wider than your shoulder width apart. Position the bar across the front of your shoulders, resting on your deltoids, the front of your shoulders. Keep your elbows up and in front of you to create a shelf for the bar to sit on. Next, you should stand with your feet shoulder width apart and keep your chest up and core engaged. Squat down by pushing your hips back and bending your knees. Keep your back straight, elbows up, and chest high as you lower your body. Then lower until your thighs are parallel to the ground, or deeper if flexibility allows, while keeping the weight centered over your midfoot. Lastly, push through your heels to raise back to starting position, extending your legs and keeping your torso up straight. A good sport that would benefit from this is offensive and defensive linemen, running backs in football. The second variation we have is the seated squats. The equipment that could be used is a barbell, weighted plates, squat rack, bench, or box for seating, or as well as a weighted bar. The muscles that will be worked are your quads, glutes, hamstrings, and core. In this demonstration, you must set up a box or a bench, position a bench or a box in front of you, and adjust the height so that when you sit down, your thighs are parallel to the floor or slightly lower. You should be able to sit fully on it without your knees passing your toes. Set the barbell on the squat rack or on your back at your shoulder height. Grip the barbell with an overhand pronated grip, positioning your hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. Third, position the bar across your shoulders as you would for a normal squat. Keep your chest up and your elbows pointing forward. Fourthly, sit down on the bench or box with your feet shoulder width apart, ensuring that your feet are flat on the floor. Fifthly, explosively drive upwards from the seated position, engaging your core and pushing through your heels to raise. Focus on powerful, controlled ascents, using your quads and glutes to drive the movements. Lastly, repeat for the desired reps. Some sports that would benefit from this is football. For example, the offensive and defensive linemen, running backs, and liner running backs. The seated squats are excellent for improving lower body explosion and power, which are essential for contact sports like football. The next variation exercise we have is the split squat. The equipment being used is a barbell, a weighted plate, or a squat rack if one. The muscles being worked are quads, glutes, and hamstrings and core. In this demonstration, you will set up your barbell on your shoulders, load the barbell with an appropriate amount of weight if needed. Then you will grip the barbell with an overhand pronated grip, positioning your hands slightly wider than the shoulder width apart. Position the bar across your shoulders as you would from a normal squat, keeping your chest and elbows pointing forward. Set your feet by stepping one foot forward and the other foot back into a staggered stance. The distance between your feet should be enough that your front knee stays above your ankle while you lower your body. Fourth, lower your body by bending both knees, allowing the back knee to approach the floor. Keep your back straight and chest upright as you lower yourself. Your front thighs should be parallel to the floor or lower if flexible allows. and your back knee should hover just above the floor. Push through the heels of your front foot to return to the standing position, straightening your front leg and standing tall. Maintain control throughout the movement. A good sport that would benefit from the split squat is football, which are the running backs, linebackers, wide receivers, and defensive backs. The split squat is a great way to improve lower body strength, balance, and explosion. Now we have the second exercise. In the first variation, you'll do single arm dumbbell rows with leg and hand on the bench. The equipment used is a dumbbell and the bench. Muscles worked are lats, traps, rhomboids, biceps, core, and your shoulders. In this demonstration, you must set the bench in a position horizontally in front of you. Place one knee and the same hand on the bench for support. The opposite leg should be on the floor, slightly bent and stable. Second, hold a dumbbell in your free hand with an overhand pronated grip. Ensure that your back is flat and your core is engaged. Third, position your body. Your chest should be parallel to the floor with your opposite knee and hand on the bench for support. Your non-working leg should be slightly bent with your feet flat on the floor. Fourth, perform the row. With your dumbbell in your hand, pull your elbow back towards your torso while squeezing your shoulder blades towards your spine, focusing on using your back muscles, the lats, the traps, and the rhomboids, to bring the dumbbell upward. Fifth, lower the dumbbell back towards the starting position with control. Fully extend your arm without extending your shoulders. Then a good sport that could use this is the football. The second variation is with 1 foot back. The equipment being used is the dumbbell and the bench. Muscles worked are lats, trap, rhomboids, biceps, core, shoulders, glutes, and your hamstrings. In this demonstration, you will first set up a position or a bench in front of you, similar to the original video. Stand with your feet shoulder width apart. Second, hold the dumbbell in your free hand with an overhand pronated grip. Keep your core engaged and ensure your posture is strong. Third, place your back foot on the ground. Step 1 foot back, slightly bent at the knee, and ensure that your front leg is slightly bent as well. Your chest should lean forward slightly, but keep your back straight. Fourth, support your torso. As you lean forward, place your free hand, the hand opposite of the dumbbell, on the bench for support. Ensure that your body is angled forward but keeps your back neutral and your core engaged. Fifth, perform the row. With the dumbbell in your free hand, pull your elbow straight back towards your torso. Focus on squeezing your shoulder blades towards your spine, engaging the muscles in your upper back, which are your lats, triceps, and rhomboids. Lastly, lower the dumbbell slowly and with control. Lower the dumbbell back to the starting position, ensuring your arm is fully extended without straining your shoulder. A good sport that could benefit from this is football, which are your wide receivers, defensive backs, linebackers, and your running backs. The second exercise is the single leg RDLs. The equipment used is a dumbbell or barbell, it's optional, or a bench for support. The muscles that are worked are hamstrings, glutes, lower back, core, and hip stabilizers. In this demonstration, you will first set up. Stand tall with your feet hip width apart, holding a dumbbell or a barbell in front of your thighs with both hands, or one hand for a single arm version. If using a dumbbell or kettlebell, keep it in your free hand or use the barbell with both hands for balance. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your torso and ensure a neutral spine throughout the movement. Third, shift your weight to one leg. Slowly lift one leg off the ground and extend it straight behind you while holding at your hips, not the waist. Your torso should lower forward as your legs extend back, keeping both your torso and the lifted leg in a straight line. Fourth, lower your torso. Keep your standing knee slightly bent. Continue to lower your chest towards the floor while keeping your back flat. Lower the dumbbell or barbell towards the floor just below your knee or until you feel a stretch in your hamstring. Your hips should stay square to the floor throughout the movement. Lastly, return to standing. Drive through the heel of your standing leg, pushing your hips forward to raise your torso back to the upright position while bringing your lifted leg down. Keep your movements controlled. A good sport that would benefit from this is also football. Running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and defensive backs. The single leg RDLs is a great exercise for improving your lower body strength, balance, and posture chain activation, all of which are essential for football players. For running backs, it improves single leg stability and hamstring strength, which is crucial for a quick cuts, burst acceleration, and maintaining balance while evading tacklers. Wide receivers and defensive backs benefit from balance and core stability developing during single leg RDLs, helping with rapid changes in direction, footwork, and acceleration off the line of scrimmage. For the linebackers and defensive backs, the exercise builds explosion in the hips and hamstring strength, helping with reaction speed, quick change of direction, and power during tackles. Some cues you could be mindful of is engaging your core, tightening your abs to maintain a stable torso and avoid any lower back rounding. Hinge at your hips, focus on pushing your hips back, not bending at your waist to target the hamstrings properly. Third, keep your back flat. Avoid rounding your lower back as you bend forward. Maintain a straight spine. Fourth, lift your legs straight behind you. The raised legs should follow the natural line of your body, extending back while your torso moves forward. Fifth, push through the heels. To stand back up, to push through the heels of your standing foot to activate your glutes and hamstrings actively. Fifth and last, control the descent. Lower the weight slowly to maintain tension on the muscle and protect your joints. The second variation is a staggered stance RDLs. The equipment used is a dumbbell or barbell, which is optional, a bench optional for support as well. The muscles worked are hamstrings, glutes, lower back, core, and hip stabilizers. In this demonstration, you will first set up. Stand tall with your feet hip width apart, holding a dumbbell or barbell in front of your thighs. If using a dumbbell or kettlebell, keep it one hand for a single arm version, or use both hands for balance with a barbell. Second, staggered your stance. Step one foot slightly back, keeping the heel off the floor while the toes stay pointed forward. Your front leg should remain in a natural stance, but your back leg will be slightly behind you for added stability and balance. Third, enhance your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your torso and ensure a natural spine during the movement. Keep your back straight and your shoulders pulled back. Fourth, hinge at the hips. With your knees slightly bent, shift your weight to the front leg. Push your hips and lower your chest towards the floor while extending your back leg slightly behind you. Your torso and lifted leg should move in unison, creating a straight line from head to heel. Fifth, lower the weight. Keep your back flat and maintain slight bend in your front knee. Lower the dumbbell or barbell towards the floor just below your knee or until you feel a stretch in your hamstring. Keep your hips square and your weight in the heel of your front leg. 6. Return to standing. Drive through the heel of your front foot, engaging your glutes and hamstrings to raise your torso back to the starting position. Bring your back leg forward while maintaining your posture and control. A good sport that this would benefit is football, specifically running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and defensive backs. The staggered stance RDLs is an effective exercise for improving lower body strength, balance, and posterior chain activation, all of which are crucial for football players. The running backs, the staggered stance helps improve single leg stability and hamstring strength, both essential for quick cuts, acceleration, and maintaining balance when evading tackles. Wide receivers and defensive backs benefit from the balance and core stability developed during staggered single RDLs, And lastly, the linebackers and defensive backs. The exercise builds hip strength and hamstring power, which are essential for reaction, speed, quick movements, and explosive tackles. Some cues to be mindful are engaging your core, hinge at the hips, keep your back flat, push your hips back, keep weight in your front foot, and control the descend when going down. The third variation we have is the platform RDLs. The equipment used is a dumbbell or barbell, elevated platform, or box. The muscles worked are hamstrings, glutes, lower back, core, and hip stabilizers. First, you'll set up. Stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart. Hold a dumbbell or barbell in front of your thighs. If you're using a dumbbell or kettlebell, keep it on one hand for a single arm version, or use both hands for balance with a barbell. Evaluate platform. Position a box, bench, or evaluate platform in front of you such that when you hinge at the hips and lower your torso, the weight will be able to drop below your knees, extending further than in the regular RDLs. This allows for a greater range of motion, helping target the hamstrings and glutes more effectively. Third, engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your torso and ensure a natural spine throughout the movement. Keep your back stabilized and shoulders pulled back. Fourth, hinge at the hips. Shift your weight to the heels and bend your knees slightly. Push your hips back, not down, and lower your chest towards the floor. Let the dumbbell or barbell drop below your knees or as far as your flexibility allows, while ensuring your back remains flat. Fifth, lower the weight. The greater range of motion provided by the elevated platform will allow you to stretch your hamstrings deeper than any traditional RDL. Keep your hips squared and make sure that the weight stays in your heels, focusing on feeling the stretch in your hamstring. Return to standing. Drive through your heels to raise your torso back to the standing position as you stand. Bring your hips forward and squeeze your glutes at the top of the movement. Keep your back neutral and avoiding using your lower back to pull yourself up. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, the running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and defensive backs. To tolerate platform RDLs. It is an excellent exercise for improving lower body strength, balance, and posterior chain activation, all of which are essential for football players. The third exercise first variation we have is a standing plate front raise. The equipment used is a weighted plate or a dumbbell. The muscles worked are your shoulders, deltoids, upper chest, traps, and core. In this demonstration, first you'll set up, stand tall with your feet hip width apart and knees slightly bent, holding a weight plate with both hands, gripping the inner edges of the plate or the dumbbell. Your arms should be extended straight down in front of you, with the plate resting just below your waist. Engage your core. Tighten your core and ensure your posture is upright. Keep your chest up, shoulders relaxed, and your spine neutral throughout the movement. Third, lift the plate. Begin the movement by raising the plate straight in front of you. Keep your arms straight with a slightly bend in your elbows for comfort. Raise the plate until it is level with your shoulders or slightly higher if you feel comfortable, focusing on squeezing your shoulder muscles, which are your deltoids, as you lift. Fourth, pause at the top. At the top of the movement, pause briefly and squeeze your shoulders. Your arms should be in line with your body and your core should remain engaged to prevent arching your back. Fifth and lastly, lower the plate. Slowly lower the plate back to the starting position with control, maintaining constant tension in your shoulders throughout the descent. Avoid swinging or using motions to bring the plate back down. A good sport that could benefit from this is football. For example, wide receivers, quarterbacks, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The second variation we have is the rotated plate front raise. The equipment used is a weighted plate or a dumbbell. The muscles worked are shoulders, which are your deltoids, upper chest, traps, cord, and rotator cuffs. In this demonstration, I will show that you must first set up, stand tall with your feet hip width apart, knees slightly bent, hold a weight plate with both hands, gripping the inner edge of the plate. Your arms should be extended straight forward in front of you, with the plate resting just below your waist, or barbell. Begin your palms facing your thighs and your thumbs pointing towards your body. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core and ensure a natural spine. Keep your chest up and your shoulders relaxed throughout the movement. This will help stabilize your torso during the exercise. Third, lift and rotate. Begin the movement by raising the plate straight in front of you. As you lift, rotate your wrists so that your palms face the floor at the top of the movement. Your arms should remain relatively straight with a slight bend in the elbows for comfort. Continue raising the plate until it is level with your shoulders or slightly higher, focusing on squeezing your shoulder muscles, which are your deltoids, as you lift. Fourth, pause at the top. At the top of the movement, pause briefly and squeeze your shoulder muscles. Your arms should be in line with your body and your core should remain engaged to prevent arching your back. Fifth and lastly, lower the plate. Slowly lower the plate back to the starting position with control, maintaining constant tension on your shoulders throughout the descent. Avoid swinging or using momentum to bring the plate back down. As you lower, rotate your wrist back so your palms face your thighs again. Some sports that would benefit from this action is football. For example, the wide receivers, quarterbacks, linebacks, and offensive linemen. For the third variation, we have the alternating plate front raises. The equipment used is a weighted plate or a dumbbell. The muscles that will be worked are the shoulder, your deltoids, the upper chest, traps, core, and rotator cuffs. In this demonstration, I will first set up by standing tall with your feet hip width apart and knees slightly bent. Hold a weight plate with both hands gripping your inner edge of the plate. Your arms should be extended straight down in front of you. With the plate resting just below your waist, begin your palms facing your thighs and your thumbs pointing towards your body. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to ensure a natural spine. Keep your chest up, shoulders relaxed, and focus on maintaining a good posture throughout the movement. This will help stabilize your torso. Third, lift one arm. Begin raising one arm straight in front of you, keeping a slight bend in your elbow for comfort. Lift the plate to shoulder height or slightly higher as you raise the plate. Focus on squeezing the shoulder muscle deltoids of the lifting arm. Ensure your torso remains upright and stable. Fourth, lower the alternate. Lower the lifted arm slowly back to the starting position with control. As you lower the plate, engage your core to prevent swinging. Immediately lift the other arm in the same controlled manner, raising it straight in front of you while maintaining a slight bend in the elbow. Fifth and last, pause at the top. At the top of each rep, pause briefly and squeeze your shoulder muscles to maximize activation before lowering the plate. A good sport that would benefit from this activity is football. For example, the wide receivers, quarterbacks, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The third exercise and first variation we have is the pre-leg lateral step-ups. The equipment used is a box, bench, or mats, or any other elevated platform. The muscles worked are your quads, glutes, hamstring, hip adductors, core, inner thighs, adductors. In this demonstration, I will first show that you must set up by standing tall next to your sturdy box, bench, or elevated platform. Position your feet shoulder width apart with your body facing the box. Keep a slight bend in your knees and engage your core for stability. Ensure the box or platform is at the height that will allow you to step up comfortably without overextending your leg. Engage your core, tighten your core and maintaining a natural spine. Keep your chest up and your shoulders relaxed throughout the movement. Focus on maintaining good posture during the entire exercise. Third, step up with one leg. Shift your weight on one leg and press through your heels to step laterally onto the box or platform with your leg. The leg you step with should be in a strong, stable position with the knee slightly bent. The non-working leg should remain on the ground, ready to assist. Fourth, balance at the top. As you step up, try to bring your trailing leg onto the box, but without fully stepping. Pause briefly at the top, balancing on your working leg. Focus on squeezing your glutes and quads to stabilize your body. Fifth and lastly, lower back down. Slowly lower your working leg back to the standing position, making sure to control the descent. Keep your core engaged and avoid leaning forward. Repeat the movement for the desired number of repetitions on the first leg. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, you'll have your running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The second variation we have is high box steps or high mat steps. The equipment used is a high box, bench, or any elevated platform like a mat, for example. The muscles that are worked are your quads, glutes, hamstrings, hip flexors, core, and calves. In this demonstration, I will show that you have to set up by standing tall in front of your sturdy high box, bench, or elevated platform. Position your feet shoulder width apart. The height of the box should be challenging, but also safe. Make sure you can step up onto it with one leg without straining. Engage your core and slightly bend your knee. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to maintain a neutral spine throughout the movement. Keep your chest up, shoulders back, and focus on your posture. Third, step up with one leg. Shift your weight onto one leg and press through the heel of that leg to step up onto the box. The foot that steps onto the box should be fully planted while the knee slightly bent. Keep the other foot flat on the floor as you push through your lead leg. Fourth, balance at the top. Once your foot is fully on the box, drive through your heel and process your body up. At the top of the movement, straighten your working leg, but don't fully lock your knee. Briefly pause and focus on squeezing your glutes and quads to stabilize. Fifth, lower down. Slowly lower your body back down by bending your knee and bringing the non-working leg back to the ground. Make sure to keep control over the descent and avoid letting your non-working leg drop quickly. Repeat for the desired number of repetitions on one leg. A good sport that would benefit is football. For example, your running backs, wide receiver, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The third variation we have is a dumbbell rotational step-ups. The equipment used is a dumbbell, high box, bench, or any elevated platform. The muscles worked are quads, glutes, hamstrings, hip flexors, core, calves, and obliques. In this demonstration, I will show that first you must set up. Stand tall in front of your sturdy high box, bench, or elevated platform with a dumbbell in each hand. Position your feet shoulder width apart. The height of the box should be challenging but safe, allowing you to step up onto your comfortably with one leg. Engage your core and tightly bend your knee. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to maintain a neutral spine throughout the movement. Keep your chest up and shoulders back. Ensure your posture is strong and stable. Third, hold dumbbell properly. Hold the dumbbells with a neutral grip, palms facing each other, and let your arms hang straight down by your side. Keep the dumbbells close to your body and maintain control of them throughout the movement. Fourth, step up with one leg. Shift your weight onto one leg and press through the heel of that leg to step up onto the box. The foot that steps onto the box should be fully planted with the knee slightly bent, but keep the other foot flat on the floor, ready to assist. Fifth, rotate as you step up. As you step onto the box with your right foot, rotate your torso and dumbbells to the left, to the side of the leg that is stepping up. This rotational targets the obliques and helps you build rotational core strength. Keep your arms extended straight in front of you during the rotation to maintain control and activate the upper body muscle. 6. Balance at the top. Once your foot is fully on the box, press your body up by driving through the heel of your leg at the top of the movement. Straighten your working leg, but don't fully lock the knee. Briefly pause and focus on squeezing your glutes, quads, and obliques to stabilize. 7th and lastly, lower back down. Slowly lower your body back down by bending your knees and bringing the non-working leg back to the ground. Ensure a controlled descent, keeping tension in your working leg. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, your running backs, wide receivers, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The fourth exercise we have is the dumbbell bicep curls. The equipment used is the dumbbells. The muscles that will be worked are your biceps, forearms, core for stabilization. In this demonstration, I will show that you must first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand, with your arms fully extended by your side. Your palms should be facing forward, supinated grip, and your elbows should be close to your torso. Maintain a neutral spine with your chest lifted and shoulders relaxed. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to help support your spine and stabilize your body throughout the movement. Keep your chest up and avoid arching your back. 3. Curl the dumbbells. Slowly curl the dumbbells upward by flexing your elbows, keeping your upper arms stationary. with only your forearms moving, focusing on contracting your biceps to lift the weights. Ensure your wrists remain straight and avoid using momentum to swing the weight up. Fourth, pause at the top. Once the dumbbells are near shoulder height and your biceps are fully contracted, pause for a brief moment to squeeze your biceps and maximize muscle engagement. Fifth and lastly, lower the dumbbell. Slowly lower the dumbbell back down to starting position in a controlled manner. Focus on resting the downward motion to keep tension on the bicep and maximize muscle activation. In this exercise, the best sport that would benefit is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The second variation we have is the dumbbell overhand curls. You will need dumbbells. The muscles that will be worked are your bicep, brachialis, muscles under your biceps, forearms, core for stabilization. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Your palms should be facing inward, natural grip, with your thumbs wrapped around your handles and the dumbbells resting at your sides. Your elbows should be close to your torso and your arms should be fully extended. Maintain a natural spine with your chest lifted and shoulders relaxed. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to help support your spine and stabilize your body throughout the movement. Keep your chest up, shoulders relaxed, and avoid arching your back. Third, curl the dumbbells. Slowly curl the dumbbells upward by flexing your elbows, keeping your upper arms stationary. Focusing on using your forearms to lift the weight rather than swinging. Keeping your wrists straight, avoiding any unnecessary movements. The overhand grip targets the brachialis muscles underneath the biceps, along with the biceps themselves. Fourth, pause at the top. Once the dumbbells are near shoulder height, squeeze your biceps and brachialis, holding your brief moment to maximize muscle activation. Fifth, lower the dumbbells. Slowly lower the dumbbells back to the starting position in a controlled manner. Focus on resting the downward motion to keep constant tension on the muscles. The best sport that would benefit is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The third variation is the dumbbell hammer curls. The equipment used are your dumbbells. The muscles worked are your biceps, brachialis, forearms, and core for stabilization. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Your palms should face each other in a natural grip. With your thumbs wrapped around the handles, let your arms hang fully extended by your side. Elbows close to your torso. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, and maintain a natural spine. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to support your spine and stabilize your body throughout the movement. Maintain good posture by keeping your chest up and avoiding any arching of your lower back. Third, curl the dumbbell. Slowly curl the dumbbell upward by flexing your elbows. Keep your upper arm stationary and avoid any swinging motion. Focus on lifting the weights by using your forearms. Since the palms are facing each other, the hammer curls target the brachialis muscles underneath the biceps and also engage the forearms more. Fourth, pause at the top. Once the dumbbells are near your shoulder height and your forearms are fully flexed, pause briefly to squeeze the biceps and brachialis, maximizing the muscle contraction. Fifth and lastly, lower the dumbbell. Slowly lower the dumbbell back at the starting position in a controlled manner, resting the downward motion to keep tension on the muscles. A good sport that could use this is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The next exercise we have is the dumbbell forward lunges. The equipment needed is dumbbells. Muscles worked are quads, glutes, hamstrings, hip flexors, core, and calves. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Your palms should be facing inward, natural grip, with your arms fully extended by your side. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, and your spine neutral. Engage your core, tightening your core muscles to support your spine and stabilize your body during the movement. Maintain a straight posture, avoiding arching your lower back, and ensure your shoulders are pulled back. Step forward. Take a controlled step forward with one leg, lowering your hips towards the floor by bending both knees. Your front knee should be at a 90-degree angle directly over your ankle, and your back knee should hover just above the ground, but not touch it. Fourth, lower your body. While stepping forward, make sure to keep your chest up and your knee aligned with your toes to avoid any strain on your joints. Your back knee should drop straight down towards the floor. Fifth and lastly, push back up. Push through the heel of your front foot to return to the starting position as you raise. Engage your glutes, quads, and core to ensure a controlled movement. Avoid pushing off your back leg or using momentum to return to standing. A good example that could use this exercise is football. For example, your running backs, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The second variation we have is the dumbbell backward lunges. The equipment needed is dumbbells. Muscle worked are quads, glutes, hamstrings, hip flexors, and core, and your calves. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Your palms should be facing inward in a natural grip with your arms fully extended by your knees. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, and your spine neutral. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to support your spine and stabilize your body throughout the movement. Maintain a straight posture, avoid arching your lower back, and ensure your shoulders are pulled back. 3. Step backward. Take a controlled step backward with one leg, lowering your hip towards the floor by bending both knees. Your front knee should be at a 90-degree angle directly over your ankle, and your back knee should hover just above the ground, but not touch it. Fourth, lower your body. While stepping backwards, make sure to keep your chest up and your front knee aligned with your toes to avoid any strain on your joints. Your back knee should drop straight down towards the floor. Fifth and lastly, push back up. Push through the heel of your foot to return to the standing position. As you rise, engage your glutes, quads, and core to ensure a controlled movement. Avoid pushing off with your back leg or using momentum to return to a standing. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, your running backs, linebackers, and offensive linemen. The third variation we have is the dumbbell side-to-side lunges. The equipment needed is dumbbells. The muscle worked are your quads, glutes, hamstrings, adductors, which are your inner thighs, and core and calves. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Your palms should be facing inward in a natural grip, with your arms fully extended by your side. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders relaxed, and your spine neutral. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscle to support your spine and stabilize your body throughout the movement. Maintain a straight posture. Avoid arching your lower back and keeping your shoulders pulled back. Step to the side. Take a controlled step to one side with your one leg, lowering your hips by bending the knee of the one leg that is stepped out. Your front knee should be at a 90-degree angle directly over your ankle. Keep your back leg straight as you shift your body weight towards the bent knee. Your chest should remain lifted and your hips should drop down, keeping your back flat. Fourth, push back up. Push through the heel of your bent leg to return the standing position as you raise. Engage your glutes, quads, and core to ensure a controlled movement. Avoid using momentum to return to standing. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, your running back, linebackers, wide receivers, and defensive backs. The fifth exercise, we have the dumbbell overhead tricep extensions. The equipment needed is a dumbbell. Muscle worked are your traps, primarily shoulders, core for stabilization. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell with both hands. Grasp the dumbbell by the top with your palms facing out upward and your thumbs wrapped around the handle. Lift the dumbbell overhead, keeping your arms fully engaged and your elbows close to your head. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to stabilize your body and support your spine during the movement. Avoid arching your back and maintaining good posture throughout the exercise. 3. Lower the dumbbell. Slowly lower the dumbbell behind your head by bending your elbow. Keep your upper arms stationary and your elbow pointed forward, making sure not to flare them out. Focus on controlling the descent and stretching the tricep as you lower the dumbbell. Fourth, extend the arms. Push through your triceps to extend your arms back to the starting position, straining your elbows without locking them. Make sure to keep your elbows close to your head throughout the movement. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The second variation that we have here is the dumbbell skull crushers. Equipment needed is a dumbbell. The muscles worked are your triceps, primary, shoulders, core for stabilization. First, you'll set up by laying flat on the bench or on the floor with your feet firmly planted on the ground. Hold a dumbbell in each hand with your arms extended straight but towards the ceiling. Palms facing each other, neutral grip. Your elbows should be fully extended with a slight bend in the arms to start. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your body, protect your lower back, and maintain control throughout the movement. Third, lower the dumbbells. Slowly lower the dumbbells by bending your elbows, keeping them stationary and close to your head. The dumbbell should move in a controlled manner towards your forehead and slightly behind your head, deepening on flexibility, focusing on the stretch and engagement of the triceps as you lower the weights. Fourth and lastly, extend your arms. Push through your triceps to extend your arms back to a starting position. Straighten your elbows without locking them out. Ensure that your elbows stay in place and do not flare out during the upward motion. A sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The third variation is the dumbbell tricep kickbacks. The equipment needed is dumbbells. Muscle work, triceps primarily, shoulders, and core. Demonstration. First, you'll set up by standing your feet shoulder width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand. Hinge at your hips, keeping your back flat and chest slightly forward. Bend your knees slightly to remain balanced. Hold the dumbbells with your arms at a 90-degree angle, elbows close to your torso. Your palms should face in towards your body in a natural grip. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your body, ensuring a strong base and preventing your back from arching during movement. Third, kick back the dumbbells. With your upper arm stationary, extend your forearm backward by straightening your elbows, focusing on engaging your tricep as you push the dumbbell back. Keep your elbows close to your torso to maintain proper form and avoid using momentum. Fourth, pause at the top. Once your arms are fully extended behind you without locking your elbows, pause briefly and squeeze your triceps to maximize contraction. Fifth, return to starting position. Slowly bend your elbows to bring the dumbbells back to the 90-degree angle, controlling the descent to maintain tension on the triceps. A good sport that this would be used for is football. For example, your quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The next exercise we have is the elevated dumbbell calf raises. Equipment needed is dumbbells, elevated surface such as a block, step, or platform. Muscles worked are your calves, your ankles, and your core. In this demonstration, I will first set up by standing with your feet hip width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand by your side. Position your toes on an elevated surface such as a block or step with your heels hanging off the edge. Make sure the back of your foot is securely placed on the platform to allow for a full range of motion. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core, stabilize your body, which helps maintain balance and control throughout the movement. Stand tall with a neutral spine, avoiding any arching of your lower back. Third, raise up. Push through the balls of your feet to elevate your heels, lifting your body upward, focusing on contracting your calf muscles to achieve the lift, aiming for a full range of motion. At the top, pause briefly and squeeze your calves. Fourth and lastly, lower down. Slowly lower your heels back down past the level of your step of platform, strengthening the calves as you descend. Control this descent to maximize muscle engagement. A good sport that would benefit are football, which are your running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, and kickers. The third variation is the outward dumbbell calf raises. The equipment used is dumbbells, and the muscle worked are your calves and your ankles and your core and your outer calves. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing tall with your feet about hip width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand by your side. Position your feet in a slight outward angle, pointing your toes away from your body, similarly to a V shape. Your heels should be closer together and your toes should be facing outward. Ensure that your feet are fully planted and balanced before starting the movement. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles to stabilize your body, which helps maintain balance and control during the movement. Stand with your back straight and avoid any arching of your lower back. Third, raise up. Push through the balls of your feet to lift your heels upward, your body, focusing on contracting your calves as you lift, especially the outer position of your calves due to the outward position of your feet. Make sure to raise as high as possible and hold for a brief moment at the top while squeezing the calves. Fourth and lastly, lower down. Slowly lower your heels back down towards the ground past the level of the platform of the floor if you're doing this without an elevated surface. Focus on keeping control of the descent and stretching the calves fully during the lowering phase. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. Running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, and as well as your kickers. The third variation is inward dumbbell calf raises. The equipment needed is a dumbbell or an elevated surface if wanted, or just the ground. The muscles worked are calves, ankles, core. In this demonstration, you will first set up by standing with your feet about hip width apart, holding a dumbbell in each hand by your side. Position your toes on an elevated surface such as a block or step with your heels hanging off the edge. This time, angle your toes inward slightly so the inside of your feet point towards each other. This positioning will target the inner calves more actively. Engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your body and help maintain balance throughout the movement. Stand tall with your natural spine, avoiding any arching of your lower back. 3. Raise up. Push through the balls of your feet to lift your head heels upward, evaluating your body. Focus on concentrating your calf muscles, particularly the inner portion of your calves. Due to the inward position of your feet, aim for a full range of motion and pause briefly at the top, squeezing your calves to maximize contraction. Lastly, lower down. Slowly lower your heels back down past the level of your step or platform, stretching the calves and your descend. Control the descend to keep contrast tension on the calves and promote muscle engagement. Lastly, a good sport that would find this effective is football. For example, the running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, and the kickers as well. The sixth exercise is the hamstring curls with the Swiss ball. The equipment needed is a Swiss ball and a stability ball. The muscles worked are your hamstrings primarily, your glutes, and your core. First, you'll demonstrate by setting up. Begin laying flat on your back on the floor with your feet resting on a Swiss ball. Your arms should be extended straight by your side for stability. Keep your knees bent at a 90-degree angle with your feet on top of the ball. Make sure to engage your core to protect your lower back. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core to stabilize your body and keep your lower back flat against the floor. This will help you maintain control throughout the movement. 3. Lift your hips. Press your feet into the Swiss ball and raise your hips off the ground, creating a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. This will engage your glutes and hamstrings while keeping your body elevated. 4. Roll the ball back in. Slowly bend your knees and roll the Swiss ball towards your glutes by pulling your feet in, focusing on squeezing your hamstrings and keeping your hips elevated throughout the movement. The closer the ball gets to your glutes, the more you engage your hamstrings. 5th and lastly, extend your legs. Slowly extend your knees, rolling the ball back out while maintaining the elevated hip position. Be sure to control the movement, keeping the tension on the hamstrings throughout. A sport that would find this beneficial is football. For example, the running backs, wide receivers, defensive backs, and linebackers. The second variation we have is the dead bug with Swiss ball. The equipment needed is a Swiss ball. The muscles that will be worked is your core, primarily in the hip flexors, lower abs, and upper abs. First, we'll demonstrate by setting up. Begin by laying on your back with your arms extended towards the ceiling and holding a Swiss ball between your hands and knees. Your knees should be bent at a 90-degree and your feet should be flat on the floor. Position the Swiss ball between your hands and knees, keeping tension in the ball. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core and flatten your lower back against the floor. This will protect your spine and ensure you maintain control throughout the movement. Third, extend opposite arm and leg. Slowly lower your right arm towards the floor behind you while stimulating extending your left leg straight out. Keep the Swiss ball pressed between your hands and knee. Maintain tension. Ensure that your lower back remains flat on the floor throughout the motion. 4. Return to the starting position. Bring your right arm and left leg back to the starting position, bringing the ball back to the center between your hands and knees. Engage your core to keep your spine neutral and avoid arching your back. 5th and lastly, alternating sides. Now extend your left arm and right leg. Continue in the alternating pattern while keeping the ball squeezed between your hands and knees. Perform the movement slowly and with control. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs and linebackers in football. Lastly, we have the third variation, the Superman's on Swiss ball. The equipment needed is a Swiss ball. Muscle worked are your lower back, glutes, core, and hamstrings. By demonstrating, I will first start by positioning your stomach on the Swiss ball with your feet shoulder width apart. toes pointed towards the floor and your hands extended out in front of you. Your body should form a straight line from your head to your feet, with your torso resting comfortably on the ball. Second, engage your core. Tighten the core to stabilize your body and protect your lower back. Focus on keeping your spine neutral, avoiding any arching of the back. Third, lift your arms and legs. Simultaneously raise your arms, chest, and legs off the ball. Aim to extend your arms and legs fully, creating a Superman position where your body is slightly arched with your chest lifted and your legs off the floor. Fourth, squeeze and hold. At the top of the movement, squeeze your glutes and lower back muscles. Hold the position for a moment and maximize muscle activation, focusing on your glutes, hamstrings, and lower back. Fifth and lastly, lower down. Slowly return your arms, chest, and legs back to the starting position, keeping the control throughout the movement. Avoid letting your body fall back onto the ball quickly. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. For example, the linebackers, quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. The first exercise we have is the wall squats with the Swiss ball. Equipment needed is Swiss ball and a wall. The muscles worked are your quads, glutes, hamstrings, and your core. By demonstrating this, you will begin by placing a Swiss ball between your lower back and the wall. Position your feet about shoulder width apart with your toes pointing slightly outward. Step your feet forward a bit so that when you squat down, your knees do not extend past your toes. Keep your back flat against the wall. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles and press your lower back gently into the Swiss ball to maintain stability. Ensure your back stays neutral and avoid arching or rounding your spine during the exercise. Third, lower into your squat. Slowly bend your knees and lower your body down towards the floor, keeping your back pressed against the ball. Aim for a 90-degree angle at your knee with your thighs parallel to the floor. Your knees should track over your toes, not extending beyond them. Fourth, squeeze your glutes. Once you reach the bottom of your squat, focus on squeezing your glutes and engaging your quads. Hold the position for a moment at the bottom to increase muscle activation. Fifth and lastly, push through your heels. Slowly press through your heels and raise back up to the starting position. Start straightening your legs while maintaining control and balance. A good sport that would benefit from this is football, which is your linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and your running backs. The second variation we have are wall hold squats with Swiss ball. Equipment needed is a Swiss ball and the wall. Muscles worked are quads, glutes, hamstrings, and your core. In this demonstration, you'll set up by placing a ball between your lower back and the wall. Position your feet about shoulder width apart with your toes slightly turned outward. Step your feet forward enough that when you squat down, your knees don't extend past your toes. Your back should be flat against the ball. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles and press your lower back gently into the Swiss ball to maintain stability. Keep your spine neutral and avoid any arching or rounding of the back during the exercise. Third, lower into the squat. Slowly bend your knee and lower your body down towards the floor, keeping your back pressed against the ball. Aim to get your thighs parallel to the floor or as low as you can comfortably go. Ensure that your knees track over your toes and don't extend past them. 4. Hold your squat. Once you've reached the desired depth, usually a 90-degree angle in the knees, hold the squat position. Keep your thighs parallel to the floor and focus on maintaining a strong core and holding the position. Engage your quads and glutes to maintain the squat. 5th, breathe. While holding the squat, ensure that you are breathing steadily. Do not hold your breath. 6. Maintain position. Continue holding the squat, keeping your core engaged and your back flat against the wall. The longer you hold, the more challenges the exercise becomes, as it is require endurance and strength. A good sport that would benefit from this is football. The linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and running backs. The third variation is the Swiss ball squat with dumbbell. Equipment needed is a Swiss ball and a dumbbell. Muscle worked are your quads, glutes, hamstrings, core, and your shoulders if holding the dumbbell up. In this demonstration, you will first set up begin by placing a Swiss ball between your lower back and a wall, similar to a wall squat. Hold a dumbbell in both hands and chest level, or for more of a challenge, press in overhead. Position your feet about shoulder width apart, with your toes slightly turned outward. Step your feet towards forward so that when you squat down, your knees do not extend past your toes. Keep your back flat against the wall. Second, engage your core. Tighten your core muscles and press your lower back gently into the Swiss ball to maintain stability. Focus on keeping your spine neutral throughout the exercise. Avoid arching or rounding your back. Third, lower in the squat. Slowly bend your knee and lower your body towards the floor, keeping your back pressed against the ball. Lower down until your thighs are parallel to the floor or as low as you are comfortably able to go. Make sure your knees are tracking over your toes and do not extend past them. Hold the squat once you reach the desired depth, typically a 90-degree angle at the knees. Pause and hold the squat position if you're holding the dumbbell at chest height. Keep your elbows bent at a 90-degree angle if your dumbbell is overhead. Ensure your arms are extended fully but not locked out. Lastly, press through your heels. Engage your quads, glutes, and hamstrings as you press through your heels and back up to the standing position. Maintain control as you push yourself back. Lastly, a good sport that would benefit is football, which are your linebackers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and running backs. Lastly, we have our cool down and final stretch. First, we'll start with arm circles for 1 minute. The muscles that will be worked are your shoulders and your upper back. By doing so, you will stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart, extend both arms straight out to the sides at shoulder height. Slowly make small circles with your arms, gradually increasing the size of the circle. Continue for 30 seconds in one direction, then switch and perform the circles in the opposite direction for the next 30 seconds. Focus on engaging your shoulders and upper back while maintaining a relaxed posture. Second will be your torso twist for 1 minute. The muscles that will be worked are your core, spine, and obliques. In this one, you will stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart and your arms out in front of you at chest level, elbows bent at 90 degrees. Rotate your torso to the right, bringing your left elbows towards your right knee while keeping your lower body stable. Third, return to the center and then rotate to the left side. Continue alternating sides, twisting gently with control. Ensure the movement is coming from your torso and not just your arms. Third is your high knees. Muscle worked is your hip flexors, quads, core, and lower body. You'll stand tall with your feet hip width apart. Lift your right knee towards your chest while driving your left arm towards, like a jogging motion. Alternating lifting each knee as quickly as you can while maintaining a steady pace. Keep your core engaged and your posture upright. Focus on landing softly on each foot to reduce impact. Your fourth one will be your leg swings for 1 minute. Muscle workout. Your muscles that will be worked out are your hamstrings, hip flexors, quads, and glutes. You'll stand near a wall or sturdy surface for balance. Swing your right leg forward and backwards, keeping your legs straight. Gradually increase the range of the motion as you can go. After 30 seconds, switch legs and perform the same motion. Keep your core tight and focus on controlled, smooth movements. Your fifth one should be hip circles for 1 minute. The muscle worked is hips, glutes, and lower back. When doing this, you will stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, place your hands on your hips, and bend your knees slightly. Start making large circles with your hips, rotating in one direction for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, reverse the direction of the circle and rotate in the opposite direction from the remaining time. Engage your core to keep your torso stable and focus on making full controlled circles. 6 which is your arm crosses for 1 minute. The muscles that will be worked are your shoulders, upper back, and chest. Stand tall with your feet shoulder width apart and your arms extended straight out in front of you. Cross your arms in front of your chest, bringing your left arm over your right. Open your arms back out and cross the other arm on top, right over left, to continue crossing and opening your arms in a smooth motion, engaging the shoulder and chest with each breath. Keep the movement fluid and don't force the arms to fall. 7th, step touch and arm reach for 1 minute. Muscle worked is lower body, shoulder, and core. Stand with your feet hip width apart. Step into the right with your right foot, then bring up your left foot to meet it. As you step to the right, reach your arms overhead or out to the side, making a T shape with your arms. Step to the left and reach your arms in the opposite direction. Continue alternating side to side, keeping a steady pace. Engage your core for balance and stretch through your arms and legs.